Well, hello, bonjour and bienvenue à Loyac in France. This is one of the busiest paddocks of the entire season, packed with fans ready to watch some rallycross action, as are you. Thank you very much for joining our live stream. Tell us where you're watching from and who you're rooting for here, as we're about to watch 3 sessions of qualifying within this one show. We've got RX2, got Euro RX supercars, and of course the World RX. That's going to be, I think, 15 races featuring 64 cars. So whatever you're doing, you're in exactly the right place. Thanks for joining us. Now, it is round 8 of the season. The cars are starting to pull up, ready for qualifying 1 for the RX2. Let's have a look at that amazing circuit. So it's the longest circuit, it's the oldest circuit in France, round 8 here in France, and let's have a look at where that puts us on the world map. We're back in Europe after our trip to Canada, and we are in Brittany. You might have come here on your holidays, but yes, this is Brittany in the northwest corner of France, actually not that far away from Le Mans. So it's racing is very much in the heritage of this part of the world. As you can see, RX2 cars lining up. Let's have a little word inside here though, because we've got about 40 minutes until we'll see any World RX action. Let's grab a word if we can with some of the main stars to look out for this weekend. And look at that, just conveniently they're waiting for us. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Would you mind taking off your amazing sunglasses, Kevin?
1 second, because I need to get my other ones.
Oh yeah, are they prescription? So it gives us a chance to have a chat. Timmy, welcome to France. I know that this is a circuit you enjoy. How are you feeling before Q1 today?
It was great to be back in practice. There's so much people hanging around here all the time, giving us so much support, and I think we bring that onto the track. Like we feel the atmosphere there, and it was nice for me to get back into this rhythm. I was quite careful in the morning, just taking it in my rhythm, but the lap time was always good. So yeah, it feels like I woke up on the right side, and it can be a good day.
It looks like it's going to be very close today. Free practice this morning. Top 15 cars within a second of each other. Kevin, you're on a strong run at the moment. I know that Canada wasn't ideal for the team, but how are you feeling going in today as championship leader?
Both of us are feeling very good, and me as well. Coming from Titans with a win and second place, and also Nitro World Games, 2 weeks back, having a win there and podium as well for Timmy. So I think we're in a strong place, and we feel, as Timmy said, the fan support here. And also, it's very close, but we are on the good side of the close side, so we're in the top and enjoying that at the moment. So going into Q1 is going to be very exciting for sure.
And with the two of you in the top 3, it's quite good to have strength in numbers in a way. You can, if you need to, help each other out.
Yeah, I mean, if we feel safe racing each other. So if we would be perfect today and we come out first and second after Q1, then we're very comfortable in that situation. I think we're very good at making plans together. In rallycross it might not happen, but like we really do drive together. Sometimes teammates still want to beat each other even though there's tactics, but we honestly want both of us to do well. And if one of us would be champion at the end of the year, both will be very happy.
Now, obviously, the team doesn't have Peugeot Sport backing this year, but these are French cars. There's so much rallying and rallycross heritage here at Loyac. I mean, this circuit was built in '76. It was the first ever location for a French rallycross championship. So you must feel the Peugeot heritage and driving these cars, which are the latest evolution from way back to the 205 Group B days.
Yeah, for sure. And also, our father Canada has won here. So also the Hansen name has been in Loyac for many years. And Timmy has won here, and Canada has won here. So, that just brings the Hansen name to another level, that we have been the kings of Loyac at one point. So it's amazing coming here. It's so much fun, and we feel the support, especially with the Lion. It feels so at home here on the grippy track. So no, it's a great weekend for sure.
Okay, well, let's hope you are kings of Loyac as well this weekend. Good luck today. The 2 princes of Loyac are up in the commentary booth. That's Dan Rook and your commentator, Andrew Coley.
Thanks, Neil. A great intro for us. See the Hansons here feeling confident. This is a track which really suits them. It's a great track. It's literally right outside our window. We are up above the start-finish line. Dan, I think we've got one of the best views in the house.
Yeah, definitely. But you can see the banks around there are filling up with 75,000 spectators, I believe, this weekend, all trying to get the best view. But luckily for us, we do have one of the best positions in the circuit, so we're thankful for that, I'm sure.
Very much, very much. You see, it's been brilliant here the last couple of days. Weather's been incredible. It's not quite as hot today as it was yesterday, but you can see it's hot enough for people to be out there, shirts off, enjoying the atmosphere. enjoying a bit of hospitality. We're actually up in a hospitality area here. I had a nice glass of apple juice earlier on, just sitting on a table watching the start. We had some Group B cars out. We even had fighter jets over the top. Great venue. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. So Loillac in France. As you can see, it is a clockwise track, 60% dirt, 40% asphalt, just over 1 kilometre long. What's key here is that the Joker lap is almost the exact same time as the outer lap, particularly if it rains. If it rains, the outer lap can be more slippery. So in the wet, they actually brought a rule in last year saying that you are only allowed to do the Joker once. We're going to take a ride on board with Andreas Bakkerud, who's currently second in the World Rallycross Championship standings. Give you a little bit of a better idea. So he comes around the last corner, over the start-finish line, and then a little dab of the brakes in towards turn 1. You can see he just sets the car nicely sideways down and then onto the gravel, which is not like the gravel anywhere else. No, it had a tendency to start off being really, really slippery, but you can see there starts to become a groove in the tarmac where it gets grippy. And Andreas there darting off to the Joker lap, and he hits the jump just before he's on the brakes and through the chicane. Tidily done, right and left and right, then all the way around to the right. The merge comes in next to you here. So we say the differential here is very, very short, which means picking when you go is absolutely critical. It's something like a second, isn't it, that I think's in it. So it's super tight between them. All the way around the right, and then over the finish line. That was the end of his free practice run this morning. We had something in the region, I think it was like 13 or 14 cars that were within 0.8 of a second of each other this morning. When I'd looked earlier in the session, there were 14 cars within a second. It's super close here, Dan. Yeah, really close. And the track it's one of those circuits where if you make a tiny mistake on one corner, you're going to lose so much. You have to be really precise the whole way around this circuit, drive it really smooth. You can't get away with big sideways on a circuit like this. No, super tight in terms of time, super tight in terms of the championship standings as well. Of course, remember there's 5 points between Kevin Hansen and Andreas Bakkerud, and I think it's 14 points between Kevin Hansen and Timmy Hansen. All to play for. Timmy was super quick this morning. We know he's going to be looking for a perfect weekend. Now, of course, it's not just the guys of World RX who are here. We've also got RX2 and Euro RX. They're going to be coming up first of all. I think the RX2 guys are down in the pre-grid at the moment. And let's take a look. We're going to take a look at the championship standings for RX2. First of all, perfect. 14 points between Ericsson and Kallio. McConnell, look, is 22 off the back of them. But it's a super tight fight for the podium positions. Ben Philip Gunderson, who took the win last time out, Hollius, is in fourth, just 1 point behind Sami Matti Trogan as well. So that third place would be nice because that's that's an awards dinner, that's a decent trophy. But really the championship is between Ericsson and Kallio. Ericsson, of course, last time in Sweden didn't have a great result, didn't go his way. I think the timing of belt came off the engine water pump, so the car overheated, and Kallio took a decent score there. So it's still on. They've got 2 rounds to go here, and then of course they finish the season down at South Africa. So if Ericsson can get that gap up to 30 points, he would be champion here, but if not, it's going to go to the last round. Now, this was literally just a few moments ago. Me and Dan were munching a salad at the back of the TV truck, and these bad boys came over. You think anti-lag is loud? It is nothing compared to these 2 jets. They were incredible, super low. They gave the old crowd a wave. They then disappeared off, came back at full throttle, and literally just pulled the stick back and went vertical. Afterburners straight up into the clouds. Dan, it was epic, wasn't it? Yeah, it's so cool to see these jets flying around, and like you say, so loud, but really, really spectacular. They've been here since Wednesday coming across. They kind of do practice flights in the run-up to the weekend. Here you go. Look, this was, I think, the last flyby. Have a listen to this. Just amazing. There you go. Crowd loved it. That's where our commentary box is. There's the Monster Energy Tower. That's down at the exit. Well, it's kind of outside where they split for the Joker. Great viewing all the way around this circuit. And talking of viewing around the circuit, you're going to get some at home now because it is time to go racing. First up in this one, 3 cars. Petter Nasha, Oliver Eriksson and Nikolai Greyer's in. So we've got a couple of new names for some of you guys here. We'll talk you through them. So Eriksson should in theory be the 4-man here. He cuts across the nose of Nasha, and Greyer's slots into P2. Now we've got a Greyer's in already, Dan, but this is a different one. Yes,
Yes, so this is Vasily Gryzin's, I believe it's his older brother, Nikolai Gryzin, who some of you will know is a regular in the rally driving and is currently leading the WRC2 standings. So he's no stranger to a rally car, and we know he's got pace, but I'm not sure if he's actually done anything wheel to wheel with anybody else. So rallycross is going to be a new concept for him.
This is a great opportunity for him, isn't it, following Ericsson? There's no doubt about his pace. We know he could do a lap like Ericsson can do it, because if you can lead WRC2, you're ahead of a peddler. But to get your head into a one-make car, you know, he's used to a factory rally car with every setting under the sun under it. You know, it's WRC2 spec machine. And these aren't like that, Dan, and he hangs a wheel out off onto the dirt there.
No, they're not like that at all. They're quite a basic car to drive, which makes it really down to the driver, and that small mistake from there going sideways would have cost him a little bit, because as I said earlier, you can't afford to go too sideways on this circuit, and well, you can't afford to do it in these cars either, so he's going to have to adapt his driving style. I'm sure he's probably a bit like when we saw Petter come into the series, Mr. Sideways, but you really cannot afford to do that in these cars.
We saw Chris Meek, of course, come and do an event here as a rallyman coming across to Rallycross. And if I remember correctly, he was fastest in free practice in a supercar, which was incredible. But of course, a supercar is a very different beast. And, you know, you'd almost expect, wouldn't it, that if Gryzin got into one of those, it would probably be easier for him to get onto the pace of a supercar in a single lap than an RX2 car. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely fair. There's a lot more settings attached to the supercar, especially with it being a turbocharged car, these being naturally aspirated. I'm sure Nikolai is used to the R5 car, which is turbocharged, which, of course, you got a few more settings to be playing around with there. But yeah, these cars are not the easiest to come in and drive, and especially if you're used to the sort of torque area you get the low end power you can find on a turbocharged car. It's different with these, because you've got to roll the speed through the corner and try and keep the RPM high.
Ericsson goes Joker, Gryzin has gone already, Narsha's going to go with Ericsson, little hop over. Two curbs, runs the car all the way out to the wall, can't really tap that. We've got plenty more races to talk you through technique. Of course, Dan Rook, who's in commentary with me, has raced here himself in an RX2 car, so we'll get that done in a minute. But Ericsson, championship leader by 14 points, takes the first checkered flag of the day for the RX2 category with a time of 2:38.239. Now, Petter Narsha in that one, as well as another new driver. Not so much time to talk about him in this one, but he's actually an X Games gold medalist in snowmobile, snowcross it was. So Petter Narsha is properly brave. If you've had a gold medal at X Games in that, spoke to him yesterday, he's excited about things, says he feels safer in a car than he does on a snowmobile. We got to see what he does later in the day. He gets P3 in this one, Nikolai Gryzin second, and Ollie Ericsson with first. So Ericsson here, Danny, puts the squeeze on Narsha, and to be fair, Narsha rolled out that.
Yeah, so that really worked out well for Ollie Ericsson. He didn't quite get the rocket ship start like we sometimes see him being able to pull a car length, but Narsha on his inside there, backing out and allowing Oliver to cut across the nose of him.
Gryzin's Joker, nailed both the curbs. Didn't use quite as much road. Interesting, we see Ericsson's Joker, so where Gryzin nails both curbs and then doesn't use it, watch this. Ollie doesn't hit either curb, but used all the road on the exit, so just able to know how to roll that speed through the Joker and get the absolute maximum out of these cars. Some people there get the old cameras at the ready. Some been to the burger stand. There's bars all the way around this place as well, so fantastic day out. Very easy to get to if you're from the UK like me and Dan. Neil Coles with Ollie Ericsson.
Oliver, must be great to get a first heat win out there. What's the circuit like?
It's a lot of grip in it. It was the best grip we've had all weekend, so it was nice to get a clean first corner. I was a bit tough on Narsha, but I wanted him to break there, and he did, and from there I could just do my race and put the laps down. So, but first heat, we see what the other guys brings now.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
3 cars on the line for the next one. We've got 16 entries in RX2 here. We've got the other Gryzin, Vasily Gryzin is on the inside, Fraser Mcconnell, who's currently third in the standings, and Ben Philip Gunderson, who's just 1 point behind him in fourth. Now, if you were watching Canada, you probably managed to catch some of the ARX and ARX2 action as well. Over in Stayside, Fraser Mcconnell leads ARX2 and took a double win in Canada against some stiff competition. So McConnell looking for that first victory in RX2. Gryzin though with a start on the inside. McConnell maybe edging him on the run towards turn 1. Gunderson turns in across them. That's more like the Loiac starts we used to. Gunderson's up the inside, but McConnell's got the whole shot. Grising trying to go around the outside. Now it's about whether or not anybody wants to have a look up the inside on the brakes at turn 3. And this time they don't. So is anybody going to go Joker? Grising goes Joker straight away. Good start there by McConnell to hold on. Maybe not the best start, but good strategy through the first 2 corners.
Yeah, with Gunderson on his outside, Gunderson not able to quite carry the momentum all the way around, and Fraser running him out to the outside of the track. So Gunderson having to back out, and then of course Fraser was on the inside of Grising then for turn 2, and was able to muscle his way through and got himself up into the lead now.
It's dirty, isn't it, offline here, Dan? So if you're going to have a lunge up into turn 3, which is what we're looking at now, look how dirty it is on the left-hand side of the track. Yeah, you might go later on the brakes, but you're not necessarily going to get it stopped.
No, definitely not. And you can see very clearly on the camera how clean the line is where everyone wants to be. And if you go off that line, it's going to cost you.
Grising versus Gunderson. Gunderson's got him. Right, so McConnell's spotters are getting up to pro level now. I would say they'll joker him straight away, Dan.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. There's nothing for him to lose at this point, and I'm sure he's got the gap to be able to go in and out on this lap. So it would make sense for him to go in and not run the risk of allowing Gunderson to catch up.
It was shown as a 1.5 gap down to a 1.3. He's late on the brakes in. It's down to 1.2. So Gunderson is flying. McConnell's going to need a good joker lap here towards the inside. Takes a bit of curb both sides, going to use plenty of track. It's going to be tight though. I think Gunderson might have it, but McConnell's going to come out side by side. Gunderson's up the inside, but it's not enough. McConnell holds on. Nicely done. They had to respond.
Yeah, they needed to get him in, and we could see the time tumbling down between the gap difference between the 2 of them. So if they'd left it another lap, then Gunderson would have definitely been there to pick up the spoils.
Joker lap here, the previous run we saw the difference between Grising's line and Ericsson's line. Interestingly, that Ericsson didn't use any curb at all, in or out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if Ericsson actually meant to not go on the curbs or not. Maybe we will get a chance to talk to him about it. But for me, Ericsson didn't look like he went through there the perfect way he wanted to, because it tends to be the way to do this is to hit both curbs.
Right, so you want both curbs and take as well, and then take the track exit as much as you can. McConnell takes it. 2:39.5. Ericsson still faster, and he will go P2 in the session. Yeah, interesting. Grising kind of held the lock on the exit, Nikolai, that is, at the corner, and didn't use all of the road on the exit.
Yeah, I think that's just having the confidence in the car that you're in. Of course, new car for Grising, so he's just going to be taking the weekend to try and find his place in it.
Giving himself just a little bit of wiggle room in case the car runs wide. Fraser Mcconnell, 2:39.5. Gunderson second, Grising third, pretty much as he went after the first 2 corners. Nikolai's beating his brother, so Vasily has been beaten by his brother by 8/10. So they said they were looking forward to spending some time together. I don't know if we're quite so pleased now. McConnell second, I say Gunderson third, but Ericsson leading at this point. This was the start, Dan, and talk us through Fraz's moves here.
Yeah, so Fraz on the middle of the squeeze here at this point, and running Gunderson all the way to the outside, and he had to back out so he didn't go in the gravel trap, and then on the inside of Grising for turn 2, and he just threaded the needle and got his way up to the top.
This was Gunderson's joker. So there's Gunderson popping the curbs, which I'll say Damrook says is the fastest way to do it. You can see Grising there was clearly behind. I don't know if we're going to see, yeah, we should see the merge. So this was McConnell into the joker, kept it tidy, and this was the merge. So Gunderson needed probably 2/10 more tripping up the inside. Wasn't quite enough, so he takes P2. Fraser Mcconnell takes that one.
Well, Fraser, this is a classic rallycross circuit, and you seem to have got to grips with it very quickly.
Yeah, I knew we were going to be in a really fast heat. The guys that I was racing with are really experienced. I've been to the track before. I knew I was going to need to find some more pace for the laps. We're going to go back and find that right now, but right now I'm just super happy for winning. This is a super legendary track. The track is surrounded by these amazing fans, and I'm going to try and make them happy.
And it was good work with the joker strategy. You came out, muscled, elbows out.
Yeah, man, I have Kevin Eriksson up in the spot to stand with me, so anything he says goes, and I'm doing exactly what he tells me.
Well, it worked. Well done.
Thank you, guys.
Well, there you go. Kevin Eriksson is spotting for him. You know, World Championship race winner Kevin Eriksson. That is Sebastian Eriksson's probably working on the cars. You know, it's only Oliver Eriksson who's the issue, isn't it? But yeah, great job. McConnell taking interest. He said we've got to go back and find some lap time, and of course that's what he means about Gunnarsson closing him down. He knows he hasn't got the quickest lap time here. The difference is he did well at the start, and the strategy meant he takes the win. So he holds those guys off. He beats them on time by beating them on track, even though they were potentially slightly quicker. This one then, Sami Matti Trogan on the inside, then William Nilsson, Lane Vakela, Simon Olofsson and Albert Levera. Nilsson this weekend is being run by Fahren, who used to run Danbrook. Lane Vakela in the middle of the grid will be new for some of you guys. He did his first rallycross race in Canada 2 weeks ago. Red flag out for a moment, so I don't know if they're doing a clear up. But yeah, Vakela in the centre of the grid, there he is. We're hearing potentially an issue with the start, so we're just sending out a centre. Oh, I think Levera's pulled forward onto the centre, but it looks like before the start procedure, so he won't get a jump start for that. But yeah, Vakela's coming across from karting, and in fact he came to Europe a week ago, did a big kart race, and is now here for this. He's never been to Europe before, a bit like Fraser Mcconnell at the start of the year. Lane is absolutely loving rallycross as well. Took a heat race win in Canada. Didn't win any sessions. You know, I think definitely has a bit to learn on the loose. I was talking to him about that yesterday. He knows that. Dan, I think this place will really suit him. Karting background, super high grip most of the way round.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to be super smooth on this track, and you know, go-karting especially, you have to carry momentum through corners and be smooth, and this track will definitely suit him, but much more than Canada. Canada's a track you have to really throw around.
Marshall gives them all a little wave. Green flag, he'll disappear into the last corner. I promise you won't stand there for the whole race. Ready to race comes on, looking for the green. Start by Levera, but we know that's due to the hand controls. Kayla drops down to fourth. I think Sami Matti Trogan has managed to get up the inside into the first corner. And is it Nilsson, I think, who's into second? So Nilsson into second on the run down to turn 3. Vakela's locked it up on the brakes, goes a bit deep. Levera goes joker, Vakela decides to stay out on the standard lap. So Lane Vakela yesterday, Dan, was telling me that he'd got several bad starts in Canada, and then he figured out that everybody else was sitting on the bike point, and he actually wasn't sitting on the bike point. He was sitting with the clutch right on the floor.
Yeah, so you have to really get the car at the bike point. So for one, of course, you're not losing the time in having to lift your foot up to the bike point. That's, you know, a tenth at that point. And when you're on the bike point, you start to wind the transmission up and get some tension in it, so that as you launch away, the car is already starting to squat down, and you don't lose a bit of time from the car having to rock backwards and so on and so forth. So you effectively spring yourself forwards off of the line, and especially in these cars as well, you have to ride the clutch slightly off of the line. So when you're at that bike point, you know from there you can release your foot off the clutch a bit slower and try and stop the car from bogging down, because they don't have the power to spin all four wheels.
So although they're four-wheel drive, not a simple launch. You know, a nice four-wheel drive guys in general nail it and go and you know, see how much grip you've got.
No, it's a bit harder with these, of course, naturally aspirated cars, so all of your power is in the high end of the rev range, and if you drop the clutch and drop off of that peak power, then you have to almost kick the clutch to get the revs back up and get going again.
By which time you're, P4 probably, aren't you, on a short run to the first corner like this one. William Nilsson, who is running P2 at the moment, you can see there with Olofsson right behind in the yellow car. Nilsson having his car run by Fahren this weekend. So Nilsson, if you remember, parted ways with his old team at the start of the second round of the season, I think it was. He ran the car himself in Sweden, and he's now being run by Eric Fahren. Dan, you know, he said, didn't he, after Sweden, well, Sweden is, oh yeah, we're going to run it ourselves with guys we know, and then I think he maybe found that was a bit too much.
Yeah, a bit too much for a driver to be thinking about running the car and driving it, so it's a good idea for him to drop in with the Team Fahrens and let them sort everything else out, and he can just focus on the driving.
Sami Matti Trogan with a convincing win in this one, coming around the long right-hander. Is he going to get Eriksson to time? I don't think he is. It's going to be close. I think he's going to get, yeah, he's got P2, so he's managed to get past Fraser Mcconnell. Good drive by Trojan, gapped everyone in that one. Lane Vakela comes across the line 7.4 back, so a little bit more learning to do about it. His lap times aren't a million miles off though.
I think Trojan was actually fastest in practice, I heard in the paddock. I've not got a bit of paperwork to confirm it for you, but practice, these guys had practice yesterday, and Sami Matti was definitely top 2.
Track's going to clean a bit, isn't it? Like in practice this morning. In fact, you can see yourselves from the high pictures here that we've got a clean line appearing on the tarmac, but the loose stuff is getting cleaner too. Sami Matti Trojan takes it from Nilsson, Olofsson, Livera, Vakela. Good to see the stars and stripes back on our finishing results. Trojan goes second, just 1 second off Ericsson. This was the start.
Vakela going backwards, unfortunately, but that opened the gap up for Olofsson to try and cut across and go around the outside. But Trojan at that point had already got the car length, and then Nilsson muscling his way back up past Olofsson again.
Trojan pretty untroubled in this one, really.
Yeah, the two guys behind second and third were battling between them, and they were doing their jokers a bit earlier on. Left Sami Matti even more of a gap to go in and get his done.
Comfortable win for the young Finn. Goes P2.
Sami Matti, that lights to flag victory. It looked relatively easy, was it?
Yeah, the start was bit was struggling, but otherwise it was good.
And how's this circuit? Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. It suits my driver style because I like the where you can like driving like circuit racing. So yeah, I like it.
Well done, Kitos. I think you go back.
Trojan comfortable there with everything off the start, and there's nothing really to do, you know. Yeah, okay, it's all good except the start. All the starts are going to be hard, aren't they? Track limits warning we've got for
Trojan,
there we go.
And Gunderson as well from the race before.
So warnings, and okay, so we've actually seen as well Super 1600s are into like 5-second penalties already. So there are bollards around the inside of the last corner. We're missing one car off the grid here. I don't know if they're waiting or if they've pulled out. We think he's coming through at the back of the grid. Yeah, okay, there we go. So is there a problem for Jan Lejosek? I think it's another foreign run car. It is.
Running 3 cars this weekend, Team Foreign.
I called him Factory Foreign earlier. This is, okay, so he's out. Lejosek's out, so that's a shame. Factory Foreign's lot will have that car back to the paddock and fixed up as soon as they can. So it's a shame. Jan Lejosek, the French driver, racing at home. In this one, you got Anders Midtschlag, who's been quick recently. Damien Meunier, who I think made the final earlier on this year, then disappeared for a few rounds, back for his home round in France. He's being run saved by Farhan Kallio, who's in the championship fight, and then Steve Boulders, who again, to me, has picked up the pace through the course of the season. So Kallio is the man who'll be aiming to get the pace on Ericsson. So Meunier was really lucky not to jump the start there because he moved forward a few inches before the lights. Kallio snicking it up the gears, look at that, just turns in across them, holds on and gets it done. Meunier trying to find a way through past Midtschlag. Midtschlag sideways. Meunier's going to get some more traction. Watch for Boulders in the background, who's got good exit speed. But not enough. Meunier holds on. Midtschlag doesn't go. Joker thought he might, but Boulders does.
Meunier actually able to get the car stopped there. He was all the way out wide and in the dirty stuff, but it does transition to tarmac just before that corner there. So maybe finding a bit of grip in that section and throwing it around the outside of Midtschlag. But Jesse Kallio off the start, that first corner, you could just see the front of the car pitch down as he touched the brake pedal and threw it in sideways. But he had to do it because he is, you know, arguably the pace man in this qualifying race, so he needed to be the one out in front.
Yeah, if he wants to beat Ericsson, you know, in the championship, really, Danny's got to beat him at every single point now because, you know, the most, if Ericsson and him are first and second, I mean, it's a big ask anyway. To be honest, Ericsson's massively in the hot seat, but Kallio can apply pressure, so he's got to start beating Messi in every session because he wants Ericsson to start taking chances, maybe get a track limits warning, yeah, maybe chuck it off. We know it's unlikely. Ericsson's a class act, but that is all that Kallio can do. So it was a brave start. He's out front, and he's got to chase the laps down. Ericsson's best lap was a 38 dead. That's 0.000 to the 1,000th, which I like.
everybody else has done Kallio on that last lap was at a 38.3, and so did Monnier behind him. And it seems everybody else up and down the field, the closest they've been able to get to Ollie's lap times is 3 tenths.
Munier's got Joker. Slots out behind Kallio. You reckon they'll send Kallio in response to that? I think they will. To be fair, Munier's quick, isn't he? Shame he didn't do more of the season. I guess it's budget again.
Yeah, budget. I think he came from the French Championship in a supercar and running his own car. And I think he's actually running the car with his own team this weekend. I was speaking to Eric earlier. So it's actually Farren's car, but then being run by Monnier's own team.
This could be pretty close. Kallio's going to go Joker. Munier, the gap's just gone up by 2 tenths. So I think Kallio's going to have done enough, but he needs to get the Joker right as well. Yeah, he has. Munier around the outside, not going to be near enough. Jesse Kallio in P2 in the standings. Is he going to get P1 or P2 here? Watch the clock at the bottom of your screen. It's going to be really close for the session win. Second. 1.1 off. Third. So Kallio is behind Sami Matti Trogan as well, but ahead of Fraser Mcconnell. Right up there, there's still pressure on Ericsson, but he's a second clear. 238.2 for Ericsson, 239.2 for Sami Matti Trogan. Kallio looked 239.3. Munier impressive, having not had that much seat time. Volders managed to get Michalak. Lejosek a DNS. There's where they slot in. Kallio goes into third and Munier into 7th. Watch Kallio start here. Dan, when you're trying to edge people like this, you've got to snick the gear at exactly the right RPM each time.
Yeah, it's a single make class, so getting the RPM on the gear change correct is crucial to get the run into the first corner. I was speaking to Ollie Eriksson back along, and he said, nobody's actually hooking the gear up at the right point, and that's where he was also gaining on everybody else. He chats with his engine engineers to work out that perfect RPM to be changing gear, and that is just what gives you that tiny edge, and then you get the run into turn 1.
Yeah, three gears on a tiny edge, and that gets you into turn 1 first. It wasn't enough on this occasion to get Kallio to the top of the timesheets, but he's right in the mix.
Yes, you're in the middle of the grid, but you made everything count into turn 1, and a great result.
Yeah, it was all about the start. It wasn't the best place to start in the middle, but I managed to do a good and got a little hit and bit sideways there in the first corner. Otherwise, it was quite okay run, but still need to find something to reach the first place.
Okay, well done, then.
Thank you.
Here are the standings at the end of Q1. Ericsson takes it from Sami Matti Trogan and Jesse Kallio. Fraser Mcconnell is 4th on his first trip to Loiac. Gunderson, the 2 Gryazins look split by Munier. Nikolai Gryazin ahead of Vasily Gryazin. At the minute, it's Nilsson, Olofsson, Volders and Michalak. So compared to Nasha, Albert Lavera, Lane Vakela and Jan Lejosek with a bit of work to do. Lejosek, unfortunately, with a DNS. That's not a great start to his weekend. Great start for the RX2 guys. Down super clean track. That's nice for them.
Yeah, really nice, and it's only going to improve all weekend as we start to see more and more rubber lay down. Don't think we're forecast for any rain, so yeah, the track is just only going to get better.
Tomorrow morning can be interesting, can't it? The early sessions can be a little bit damp, so we'll see whether or not that affects it. And of course, World RX, we might have the flipped grids, but let's see. We've got Euro RX coming up for you next, supercars. Here are the championship standings after, of course, they went to Estering last time out for a standalone European Rallycross event. Robin Larsson at the top of the standings ahead of Brinderson, Dubourg, Munich. Andrea Dubourg further down at Ikonen and Karai. But Larsson and Brinderson, Larsson with a big lead here. So, Larsson could tie up the title here, but Brinderson will try very hard to beat him, as he did last time in Estering. It's Pontus Tiedemann who's in disguise there in P5. He's in sort of his superhero guise of, I don't know, Mr. See-Through. that's his special power. He'd like that special power in turn 1, I'm sure. But right, let's have a look at the grid for race 1. Cars lining up in the background. First three are there already. Thomas Brinderson, Andrea de Borg and Mandy August. Brinderson did a great job last time out, Dan.
Yeah, last time out in Estering, managing to beat Robin Larson for the first time of the season.
I did wonder if Larson might manage to clean sweep the entire set of standings. I was quite excited by that prospect. You know, I like things like that, like the 000 time that somebody said earlier. So Larson not going to clean sweep the standings. Brinderson's got the best start here. Andy August goes out wide. Dubourg gets hard into the side of Brinderson. Of course, Dubourg had a penalty, didn't he, in Sweden for re-entering the track across the gravel trap and lost a few points there. Mandy August has been quick this season too. I wonder if Dubourg... No, he doesn't go joke. I thought Dubourg... All Mandy August might have gone then.
Yeah, I mean... Actually, I mean, thinking about it, Mandy August can benefit following these guys, and because they're fast drivers. And for Dubourg, if he was to go in and then catch up to the back of Mandy, he would then be compromised. So
fair play on him. Yeah, I mean, it's good tactics. There's a little bit of it. I think Mandy could have taken a chance on going Joker when these two are fighting so hard. Potentially, you know, if they continue to fight hard, they might lose time. But side rush and Dubourg, full commitment. Dubourg's actually looking really quick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's all over the back of Brinson, keep tapping him in the bumper there. So just a reminder to let him know he's there, try and pressure him into a mistake, because it is hard to pass on this circuit, but we have seen it before. But of course it is early doors, no one wants to risk too much damage, but I think we'll see Dubourg on this lap go into the joke lap to try and get the leapfrog on Brinson when he goes in the next lap.
If I were Brinson, I'd be tempted to go on this one, because another trick you can use here, or which you could use, is to back someone up in turn 3. You risk them running into the back of you, but if Brinderson was to overbrake and hold him up on turning when he wants to go the longer line, he doesn't, in fact. You see what I mean? You could compromise their quick lap where they're trying to overlap you.
Yeah, and if Brinson then makes it look like he's going to the Joker, then Dubourg would have lost time from not being able to carry so much speed into the corner, because he'll then be changing direction and going standard.
Exactly. So I think a lap 3 Joker from the lead here could tactically be a good move. Okay, you might compromise your finish time a little bit, particularly if you back them off on purpose further than you would normally do so. But I mean, let's see if he's done enough anyway. It's going to go now. So he's caught up with Mandy August in the background. Dubourg caught up with Mandy August right up behind her, and that could compromise his time. Going to come around the outside now. Where's Brinderson? Just in front. So yeah, Dubourg, it didn't work out.
No, not the perfect way to go with that one, and I think if anything it would have benefited him following Brinson to the line. At least he would have gained a couple of tenths on the finish time.
And I suppose the other thing, of course, is if Brinderson had gone on lap 3, he would have been closer to August because of being further in the lead, so it could have compromised him too. There's so much to think about, and this is one of those short circuits where the spotters are having to make decisions really fast.
Yeah, not a very long lap. I mean, we're doing 36-second lap time, so there's not very much time to try and make the decision as when to go. So yeah, the wise thing, I guess, in a race like this, the safe option was to send Brinson on the last lap.
So they went for safe, and they got the result. Brinson takes it. Target time for everyone is 2:33.232. Dubourg, I think, could have been a tiny bit closer. Mandy August was really quick on the first lap, keeping up with the two cars in front of her. So Mandy August went really wide here. That was very sensible, Dan. She was hoping, wasn't she, that these two in front would basically nose it up, fire it into each other into turn 1, and she'd be able to undercut them. Great tactics. Didn't work out this time.
Yeah, it was really good tactics, and by going out that bit wider, she can carry more speed through turn 1 and maybe make a lunge up the inside to turn 2. I mean, it didn't quite work out like that, but the theory was there nonetheless.
Yeah, there's a lot of thinking goes into this, doesn't it? There is the old plan, and the plan goes out the window in turn 1, but there is a plan. You sit with your engineers, you sit with your spotters, come up with a bit of tactics. Oh, look at that, lovely job from Brinson. There's nothing quite like seeing a supercar in full slide. This is one of my favourite places to watch practice because you can get so close to the track. If you're ever here, go and have a stand inside turn 2 or outside the last corner. What a place.
Good first race here in Loiac, but you were under pressure all the way through.
Yeah, the boys are quick here, and but I still think we had a good first heat. was a bit careful the first lap, but from lap 2 and out it was quite good, I think. But a bit too careful, but still a good first hit.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Filling up the grid for the next encounter. Derek Tohill, Sondre Evjen, and Paulius Pleskavas. So where is O'Donovan? Yeah, is O'Donovan's missing from it from the looks of things. I don't have any information about that right now. I'm just going to check our screens to see if there might be a reason come through from race control, but there isn't at the moment. Start by Evjen edging Tohill towards turn 1. Tohill's come back and goes late on the brakes though, locks it up and runs wide. That allows Pleskavas to get through on the inside and then around the outside. Now Pleskavas on the dirty track. Derek Tohill trying to come back. Sondre Evjen behind. Send Evjen to the Joker. Send him to the Joker. And he doesn't go down. I would have gone 100% there, but I guess again, is he nervous about coming back behind them?
Yeah, but he's
got past Tohill.
So yeah, he passed Tohill there by Tohill running a little bit wide, but he was already at the back of the train, so it would have made sense for him to give him a little bit more of a cushion and put in a good couple laps. And Pleskavas runs wide, and Evjen's now up the inside. He's going to get the run into turn 1 there, and looks like Tohill's going to try and follow him there. And yeah, he manages to get through. But Sondre Evjen, in practice, I think it was warm up today. I think he was 7th out of the World Championship drivers.
Yeah, I saw that, which is epic. He's been brilliant this year. We know who's running him. He had Kristoffersen guys here. Tommy Kristoffersen spotting for him. Who was it that said to me yesterday? I can't remember if it was Niklas or Timo. Someone said to me, they were like, you can't win them all. And he was like, well, you can if you're going Kristoffersen, which I thought was a brilliant quote. But when you've got Tommy Kristoffersen spotting for you, and you're in a great car like we know he is, I bet this isn't a VW Motorsport Polo, this is a Kristoffersen Motorsport, so it's not the same car Johan was in last year, it's a different car. But still, he's shown great promise. Stepping up from RX2 into supercar, lots of little mistakes, but you'd expect that in a learning year. But to see pace like that at a track like Loic is impressive.
Yeah, and we know the car's quick here, though. We've seen Johan take wins in his own run car in the World Championship, so I'm sure they're bringing settings across from when Johan was driving in the car to give to Sondre Evjen. But yeah, like you say, he is showing great pace. It's just trying to keep it consistent from this point on to work towards a championship rather than just trying to get heat wins.
Tohill, I think, was out in British Rallycross, wasn't he? Was that last weekend?
Yes, in Linden Hill.
Monday? Bank holiday, was it on a Sunday?
Bank holiday Monday,
So they've only had then literally 4 days to re-prep. Practice was yesterday, wasn't it, for these guys? I think they had some pre-practice time. So very little time for Tohill's team to re-prep that car. Evjen into the Joker. Pleskavas was 5.5 off the back, so he's not going to be too close. And he's got a good target time of Brinderson to aim for, so not going to get Brinderson here. Pretty confident of that, but we'll know if it's going to be a class act or not. So I'll say Brinderson is right at the sharp end. Evjen goes 3rd. So De Bourg got him as well, but then De Bourg's been at the sharp end too. So that's a decent drive from Sondre Evjen. And I think with the mess on the first lap, Dan, potentially there could have been another second in that.
Yeah, 100%. Another second would have been had if it was a clean first lap.
Which would have put him where, if he'd had another second off 34.6, would have put him on the pace of Andrea De Bourg, basically right on the same pace. Crossing the track out of turn 2, they then come back down this access road, which you'll see them turning onto now, which is right down by the crowd. Crowd often leaning over the barrier here to wave at the drivers. You can see the applause there. It's great, that return road. That will be it's busy today. It was busy yesterday. It will be rammed tomorrow. Absolutely rammed. There's Evjen at the top. Tohill, Pleskavas, O'Donovan at DNS. It's a shame for Ollie. Couple of Irish flags on there with Tohill and Ollie. So Ollie's going to struggle to make it with a DNS in Q1. So I'll just have a chat with him. Saw him yesterday. He was in good spirits. His son Patrick O'Donovan with him. He took a win last weekend in British Rallycross as well. Didn't go well for Tohill in turn 1 there, and that actually compromised Evjen, did it? Tohill just he wanted to break deep and push him wide, but not that deep.
No, he locked the wheels up there and wasn't able to get through, and then trying to go around the outside of Pleskavas opened the door for Sondre Evjen at this point. But and then Pleskava's running wide again, and Evgen up the inside here. So a whole lap of fighting for Sondre Evgen at this point, and it wasn't until now that he was able to get clean.
Could potentially have joked on that first lap. Having said that, he really made the most of the fight the two in front were having and managed to slice his way through the field. So great drive from Sondre Evgen. I do like watching a driver come up through the categories, so interesting to see what Evgen opts to do next year. Of course, he's got another round of Euro coming up at Latvia next weekend, 2 weeks' time.
Sondre, that was a very good race for you. Talk us through it.
His toe will break way too late in the first corner, so it kind of ruined the whole race, at least the first lap. So 2 overtakes in the first lap, that was good, it's fun, and then it was just racing against the clock, pushing a little bit too much. We have to take care of the tires, but in the end it was a good race.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody chilling in the crowd. Oh, the little kiddie there looking like they want to have a sleep. Can't do that. Well, you can try. Supercars tend to wake you up from an afternoon nap, in my experience. Mark Flaherty, he's in the second car for Ollie Bennett's team, then David Meslier, Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, JB, Alain Fujic, and Emmanuel Galivel. JB Dubourg had a podium here a couple of years back in the World Championship. That was a great result. He was over the moon.
In the C4?
Yeah. Some interesting sounding anti-lag. Somebody was up on their limiter very, very early indeed. I don't know who that was. Oh, brilliant start. JB Dubourg absolutely nails them off the line. Fujic's going to go P2. Flaherty into the side. The car that was next to him on the grid. It was Meslier. So forgive us, I'm not familiar with Meslier and Galivel so far. Good to have more of the French drivers coming in. You know, Dan, that's the great thing, isn't it, about this championship, is we get these guest drivers coming in their home event. Well, okay, Sebastian Eriksson's probably the best example, isn't he? Guest driver comes in and knocks it out of the ballpark in taking his first World Championship win, but it's a massive sport here in France.
Yeah, it's so big. The national championship is probably the biggest national championship there is in the world, arguably, and the level of competition there is high, and it's great to see those drivers come through and try it against the European and the World Championship drivers.
JB Dubourg was a little bit wide a couple of times on that first lap, I thought. Not massively, but a little bit.
Every little counts, though, on this track, and of course, any small mistake he makes like that is going to go against his time, and we know how sharp it is at the top end, so he's going to be wanting to file out those mistakes.
This is an interesting one for me, this track, always, because it's regarded as one of the classics. I know you guys at home, the fans often are like, oh, it's not real gravel when we go to somewhere new and a new circuit gets built, but actually Loiac is the least gravelly of the World Championship rounds that we go to, but because it's regarded as a classic, I think people view it differently. It's not, it's kind of like tarmac. It's hard to explain if you guys are into your roadworks. It's tarmac, and then it's planed tarmac, isn't it, Dan? You know when they go and they resurface a road and they plane off the top layer, and then normally it's resurfaced, whereas here it's just planed off. So it's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. You always need to see it, don't you, to get your head around it.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one here, and I'm the same as you. I don't know how I'm going to describe it, but
just go for it, mate.
But yeah, the surface, you can see there's like the patterns where it does sort of get planed off, and then the cars start to lay rubber down, and then it actually reaches a very similar grip level to the tarmac on the rest of the circuit.
So it develops in terms of getting clean, but it never ever develops like real gravel at Canada develops, you know, which is a new circuit, ironically, you know, so it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting the way people view the track. But it is a great track. I say it's a very tight Joker difference. This could be a bit closer. JB Dubourg aiming for the top. Check the bottom of your screen. He might do this, you know. Oh, super close. 0.3 of a second. Just under, in fact. JB Dubourg goes P2 behind Brinson. So we'll be waiting to see when Larson comes out. Larson's in the final race.
On the outside of the grid.
Yeah. Liam Doran's on the outside of the grid as well. Stay with us. If ever that was a great way to throw to an advert break, we've got Robin Larson and Liam Doran coming up on the outside of the grid. Stay with us. If you go anywhere now, you're not a proper Rallycross fan. Dubourg takes it from Fujic, Meslier, Flaherty, Mark back, saw him at our hotel the other night, said he's hoping to do more events this year and potentially a lot more next year, so nice to see Mark Flaherty back out competing in Rallycross again. Of course, the more he does, I'm sure the more comfortable he'll get. Great job by JB de Boer to go so far up, and Dan largely done in this start, you know, perfect start. I don't know if he got the perfect start or if everyone else got a bad one. I suspect a combination of both.
Yeah, both of them, of course. Flaherty on pole was in a car that he's not familiar with, so the start procedure is always a bit alien. But yeah, JB getting that perfect launch, and he needed that because if you'd see the gap behind him is 3.5 to Fuchik in second. So if he got caught up in a fight with some of these guys, he wouldn't have been so far up the table come the end of the race.
Yeah, pressure on when you know you absolutely have to nail the start. You know, you've got to nail the start anyway, but when it's a case of nail the start or get stuck, you know, you don't mind when you're in with the top guys, but when you're in with people of varied speed, you really need to get off the line fast.
Jean-Baptiste, the crowd really enjoyed seeing you win. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was an amazing hit, a very good start. That was not our best point before, but we worked on it before Loyac, and I'm very happy with it. Unfortunately, I make a small mistake in turn one, in lap 3, turn 1, and I think it missed me some tenths to be faster, so I'm a bit... But that's
still a good time. We'll see you later. Thank you.
That's good.
Being told by one of our replay guys in the truck that his reaction time was 0.2, which in theory is guessing the lights, because 0.3 is about the limit, isn't it, I think, Dan?
Yeah, I think so. So maybe JB got a little bit lucky there as well.
Indeed. Barbosa, Lombeck, Janko, Karai and Ikonen. Karai's been quick. Did Karai win a session at Estering?
Yes, he did, yeah. Nice of you to watch, mate.
There you go, you see, mate. I might have been on the other side of the pond, but I do like a rallycross. So, interesting lineup here. Fair bit of smoke out the back of Barbosa's car, but still gets away brilliantly. Barbosa versus Karai on the run to the first corner. Karai, though, with the line, comes around the outside. People running deep, side by side in the second corner. Ikonen's managed to get his way up into P2, so Ikonen's been fast as well this year, but Karai, I say, has impressed me with sort of session-winning pace a couple of times.
Yeah, so maybe not the most consistent driver out there, but when he gets it hooked up, he is extremely fast. And of course, that Audi, you know, it's not an EKS Audi; it's built elsewhere, so it's not like it's necessarily been proven in the World Championship to be fast. I mean, we know Ikonen's in the car that Rainis Nittis used to win this championship last year, but yeah, Karai, we're not sure what the car could do. So
no.
Yeah.
It's obviously a decent piece of kit. I suspect a bit of development, but for me, Karai has developed as a driver too. Like, you know, with no disrespect, a couple of years ago he was wild, and if you were next to him on the bridge, it was like, oh, okay, Karai. But I feel like he's kind of wound it in a bit, and sometimes you've got, Dan, you learned that yourself from supercar going to RX2, that he's sending the supercar, everything's easy, and then suddenly you get to RX2, you're like, whoa, actually I've got to wind my neck in here and keep it tidy.
Yeah, it's so easy to overdrive it because you've got so much power behind you that you can have a slide and you can pull yourself back from it. And well, a fine example, I suppose, is Johan stepping in beside Petter as a teammate and telling Petter he has to back off.
Scott Speed and Tanner Faust. You know, Speed always the circuit guy, Tanner always the drift guy. You know, they had a very similar relationship where Scott learned some stuff from Tanner, Tanner learned some stuff from Scott. Get well soon as well, Scott Speed, if you're watching. Scott, you may know, had a back injury recently, competed at Nitro Games, and he's going to make it back for America's Rallycross. It's going to be very, very tight on the recovery front for him. We're really hoping that the Subaru Motorsport USA driver might be back in time for ARX at COTA Circuit, the Americas, Austin, Texas. If you're watching stateside, come and join us. That's at the end of the month. I say the end of the month, it's actually the end of August now. I mean the end of September, because it's September tomorrow. So Loyac is one of two events in our championship which have a traditional date. Hollius is one, always the first weekend of July, and Loyac is the other, always the first weekend of September. But interestingly, Loyac crosses over into August, so say it's the first Sunday of September. Or as we see, Karai has gone quick here. quickest. So Karai's gone quickest ahead of Brinderson, just as we were saying, Dan, how impressive he's been this year. At somewhere where you've got to keep it super tidy, Karai has gone quicker than Brinderson. And Brinderson, the winner last time out Estering, Karai took a session there. Karai took a session somewhere else. I can't remember if it was Silverstone. Yeah, I thought so, yeah. So yeah, but come see some ARX as well. We're going to Kotra, I say, at the end of the month. We've got Latvia in between. You've still got opportunities to catch some Rallycross this year in person. Come to Loiac tomorrow. It might be a sellout, to be honest. It usually is. Maybe don't. But Tamas Karai, Ikonen, Barbosa, Janko and Lambeck. But for me, Karai, look at that. Ikonen goes into sixth, but half a second as well. So Tamas Karai is the new target. Got a couple of quick drivers still to come. 2 more races. You'd have your eyes on Rennie Munich and Robin Larson in particular, 1 in each race. Can anyone beat Karai? Look at the smoke from the back of Barbosa's car, but the car gets away okay. Karai just turns in across them. And Dan, I'm always... It's interesting here. The drivers yesterday, when we did the grid draw, they're like, oh, inside, inside, inside. Liam was like, no, outside. Because once the pole has gone, it's kind of like, well, I might as well... He was saying basically from 3rd to 5th, you might as well just send it. Yeah. Obviously, if you get a good start, but you've got the racing line from the outside, whereas on the inside, you have to win the start from pole. I don't really feel like you have to win the start from the outside.
No, you don't. And because the next corner, it goes from a right-hander to a left-hander, you can chuck it up the inside.
Yeah, lots of tactics to be deployed.
Thomas, very good. You're quickest so far. Talk us through it.
Thank you very much. Üdvözlöm az otthoniakat, a tatyáikat, mindenki testvéremet. Örülök, hogy néznek és szurkoljanak nagyon.
Very good, thank you.
Yes, Tamas. Take the win.
Was that your rough translation?
That's my rough translation is, yeah, thumbs up, have it. I reckon that's what he said. I'll tell you what, if you're Hungarian, let us know. We'd like to know. So, Rennie Munich, Laurent Bouliot, Attila Moser, Patrick Guillaume and Emmanuel Anne. Munich off a podium last time out. Hoping for the same again here. Got to get away in front of these guys. I think it's fair to say that Munich here is the man. You know, we know Moser's okay. Bouliot, Guillaume and Anne, French drivers, so they're all here competing at home in France, but Rennie Munich needs to beat them off the start and from the inside slots. We'll have another look at Turn 1 tactics in a minute. Ever such a long hold here, really long. That is about the limit of those lights. Munich's got it done for Turn 1, needs to watch on the outside for Emmanuel Anne. Emmanuel Anne, though, blocked off from a car on the inside, and it is whole shot for Munich, but that's what you have to do, Dan, because you're so tight into the apex from slot 1 on the grid, you've got to win the start, you've got to be there first.
Yeah, you've got to be there first, but then you've also got to run it really wide on the exit of the corner to be on the inside for Turn 2.
But that's where I think being in a wider grid slot here works, because you know if the pole man wins it, he's going to go deep. He'd definitely take in P2 with him, 100%, because they don't have any choice. Anyone from 3 to 5, in theory, you could roll off and slot it back up the inside. Yeah, you're on the outside of Turn 2, but then you're on the inside of Turn 3. So I like the start here. Any circuit with a right-left in close succession gives us great racing. Yeah. Hockenheim, remember the 2 hairpins? Mega.
Yeah. Hockenheim was really, really good, and we've seen one of the best races of the whole championship there, haven't we? So,
Semi-final 2, the famous one.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out there, I was the spotter for the winner of that race. I'd just like to put it in there.
Liam was it?
Yeah, Liam
was in the mini. Yeah. It was. Chris Dobson with a punch. Go look it up on YouTube. I think it's still our most viewed race, semi-final 2, Hockenheim. 15, was it?
16.
16, there you go. A year between 14 and 1905 chances. I got it wrong. Munich hoping not to get it wrong. What are his lap times like? 36.9 for Karai. 36.5 and a 36.4 for Munich. So Munich here looking to go top, and he's absolutely flying.
Yeah, maybe we're starting to see some track development, as there seems to be a bit of carnage down in Turn 3 there where you saw off shot. But yeah, track development. Of course, the more cars we get drive around this circuit, the more rubber gets laid down and the more grip these guys have to chuck it around.
I think as well the Joker will develop a lot. You know, the standard lap has probably developed a lot already. We've got what did Neil say, 65 odd cars hammering around here. That might not even include Super 16. So we've got so many cars coming around. We've got the Legends as well, beautiful Group B rallycross cars here. But the Joker's going to take a lot longer to clean because it's getting one run per lap. Here is the one run for Rennie Munich. Munich's last lap was a 36.5. He's absolutely flying. Rennie Munich hoping to take away the top spot. He's done a decent Joker. How committed is he on the exit? Just a couple of corners to go. I think he's going to take this, and that's going to mean that Larsson's going to be the only man that can deny him. Push for the line. Here comes Rennie Munich, going to stop the clocks. He's up. 31.8, 9/10 of a second faster, near as damn it. It's a great job by Rennie Munich. Karai went fastest, now Munich. One man left to come, but he's got to do it from slot number 5. Robin Larsson in the last qualifying race of Q1 for Euro RX. Impressive drive from Rennie Munich.
Yeah, really good there, and well, he did what he had to do, didn't he? He had no pressure from anybody behind him. He had 4-second gap back to P2, so he had that much track to play with, and he capitalised. He was just racing the clock, and he's gone and topped it.
Here's the result of that one. Munich with the door open. If that's to wave to the crowd or let the heat out. It's a little bit cloudy, so the sun's not beating down quite so hard. He's beating down hard on the clock there. 2:31.8. Bulio, Guillaume, and Moser. But this is the important one. Bulio goes into 7th. But Munich to the top of the table, impressively, I say, 0.85 ahead of Karai. Just a tidy drive down.
Yeah, really tidy, and he didn't have any squabbles in turn 1. As you see, he had the nose clean in front and got away, and that helped him out. Of course, we saw Evgen earlier on in the sessions having a bit of a first lap fight, which held him up a bit, but Munich didn't have that, which meant he could just drive his own race.
Absolutely miles in front at this point. Able to keep it tidy and no pressure on his Joker. I wonder if he could have been slightly more committed on the exit of the Joker. Did hop the curves both sides, but maybe, I don't know, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Was there another 10th or 2 in there? It doesn't matter because at the minute he leads, but Robin Larsson is in the last race. Great job by Rennie Munich. He's top of Q1 with 1 race to go.
Rene, a very impressive drive. Now, is the track developing, or was that just your pure speed?
I think the track is always developing a little bit, but this track is quite stable. I would say some tenths maybe from the first heat to the last heat, but not more. So I would say I'm quite happy with the car, so maybe this was my speed.
Very good, well done.
Okay, thank you.
So there is Larsson pulling up to the outside of the grid. He's in the middle of his grid slot. We haven't seen anyone too far off left or right just yet. But he, for me, is the only guy in this one that would be able to take away that top time. Gaetan Sarrazin, Antoine Mas, Rudolf Audran, Stéphane Deganay, and Robin Larsson. So 4 French drivers. Gives you an idea, I say, of the depth of supercar field here. How many supercars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 12 supercars in this field just from France. So there's a huge, huge number of supercars. Don't forget we've got a couple in the World Championship as well. The Payet brothers are taking part in that. So massive, massive series over here. Larsson needs to win this start. It's not going to be that easy. I think he's going to cut across. Like I said, it's not easy, but he just makes it look like an absolute cakewalk. Flicks the car wide, contact in the background. Oh, that's Sarrazin. Is it going round? No, it was Deganay. So Deganay, I think, has spun up in the second corner. But all eyes now on Larsson. Danny got exactly what he wanted, which is a great hole shot. Even start too, but from slot 5, you don't have to back off into turn 1 in the same way.
No, you can carry that extra speed because the corner's not as sharp, so able to throw it in. And we saw him hang the tail out on the exit, having to, keep the gas lit and not run it into the gravel. But now we're going to have to see what Robin Larsson can do. His opening lap was a 36.5, but Rennie Munich was a 36.4. So Rennie Munich at the minute, his fastest lap was a 10th, but of course we've still got 3 more laps to go.
Munich, of course, has with him this weekend Timo Scheider, who's competing in the World Championship. So they've got 3 cars to take data off: Andy August, Timo's car, and the car of sorry, get myself all confused, Munich. But yeah, nice to be able to compare things with Timo. You know, Timo will come and say, look, we should tweak this, we should tweak that. But to me, Munich's car is dialed.
Yeah, really dialed, and we know how professional Timo Scheider is and the development he's put into the car. So, you know, it's no doubt that René is going to be running the best possible setup for the Ibiza.
Larson has done a 36.6 now. Don't think it's enough, Dan, at the speed he's going, but it could come down to an awesome joker lap.
Yeah, I mean, we might see him a little bit more committed over the jump and flick it through the chicane there, but at the minute, I think he's dropped about 2 tenths to Munich from what his first 2 lap times were.
He doesn't need to win every session, but, you know, would you have your spotter on the radio saying you need to be going more quickly? I mean, the thing with Larson is he's not the kind of guy who isn't going quickly anyway. You know, he knows how to pedal. It's a bit like, oh, you've got to drive faster. Well, I'm driving as fast as I can.
Yeah, he's already delivering the maximum the car can do, as we're seeing him now into the joker lap, big over the jump, hangs the tail sideways on the way in through the chicane, uses all the road on the run out of the corner.
Oh, sideways on the dirt as well. Time of Munich is 2:31.896. There it is at the bottom of your screen. Larson might have done enough in that joke. He's going to be super close. Larson has just done it. Has he done it in the joker lap, Dan? Because he has, hasn't he? Because his lap times are not the same. So Munich was doing 36.5s. Larson was on 36.6s. It was super close, but he's taken him by, 0.8 to point. He's got 4 tenths. Exit of the joker. Like we said, I just felt Munich didn't look like he was on full attack on the exit.
Yeah, so Larson using... we know how committed he is, and he put that to his advantage there, and that was where he took the session win.
Larsend. Like Patrick Sendell. We have good nicknames coming out these days, but Larson straight on it, applause over the fence, look, thumbs up. Robin Larson, 2:31.4. It's just enough to win the session, break the hearts of the French fans as well. Look, 4 French supercars in here, all driving French machines, but it's a Swede in the German Audi, the ex-EKS machine, the World Championship winning car, of course, Matthias Ekström. Larson goes P1 just ahead of René Munich. Tamas Karai third. Brinterson, De Bourg. So Brinterson's down in 4th, Larson up in 1st. Brinterson's going to have a bit of work to do in the remaining 3 sessions because he needs to take points off Larson everywhere. Larson's just got to stay out of trouble, and Dan, you know, brave moves like that into turn 1 are staying out of trouble by very slim margins, but he had to. He's got to get the whole shot or he wouldn't have got the time.
Yeah, I mean, in this occasion he had no choice, but now he's going to be the pole man going into Q2, so he's probably got a little bit more leeway to work with, and he's going to be in with a faster group of cars as well, so he just needs to, probably keep it calm for the rest of the weekend. But this is Robin Larson we're talking about, so I highly doubt that we're going to see any holding back.
That last race is going to be great in the next session. It will be Larson, Munich, Karai, Brinterson and JB De Bourg. So home favourite versus a lot of people have been up at the sharp end. But Larson wins Q1.
Robin, looked like a relatively straightforward win, nice and sideways. Talk us through it.
We struggled a little bit on the practice. It was a little bit more slippery and I had to go so much tighter lines, but I got a good start now, and then the grip levels was so much higher and I could push my lines and a little bit more sideways than I like. So yeah, it worked well, and now we try to see what we can do better.
Were you impressed with some of the other times, especially like René Munich's time was particularly good?
Yeah, I have no clue, but I just pushed and I heard from the spotter that it was good times, and I pushed it through the yoker and did a good last lap, so it worked good.
Well done, thanks.
Thanks.
Here are the standings at the end of Q1 for Euro RX, the second to last round of the European Rallycross Championship of Supercars. Larson takes it from René Munich and Tamas Karai right at the end there. So Karai, Munich and Larson in those last 3 races going quicker and quicker. Brinterson, when was Brinterson? He was he in an early one? He was in the very first race. So if there is track development, to be fair to Brinterson, that's pretty decent, Dan.
Yeah, it is pretty decent, and he's now going to be in the last race for Q2, so that track development we've seen over the session is going to be in his favour.
There you can see a couple of French people in. Serrazan and Bouliot is in. Guillaume and Audran hoping to be in there. So huge French contingent taking part here at Euro RX at Loiac. So we wanted to talk a little bit about track development because of the way the world drivers were able to choose their grid slots. So remember now for Q1, same from Canada, we're doing this in ARX all year, but they get a random draw. It used to be random draw, stick them in the grid. Now down it's a random draw list of names. The Hansons came out second to last and last. Kevin was like, oh, it's not random. It is random. But it's nice because it gives us a tactical element, but it's really interesting to see some people have chosen pole and some people have gone for a late race. So we're going to take a look at the track and Dan, we can maybe have a chat about why they would have chosen to choose either the pole or late in the race. Here's a good example. This is the straight down to turn 3.
Yeah, so the guys choosing to go later at the end of the session are going to benefit more from a cleaner track, because you can see already here we're looking at the loose section and you can see there's rubber laid down on it. So the start of the weekend that wouldn't have been there. So every single time a car has driven on that section of track, it's cleaned it off, started to lay down that little bit more rubber, which gives us a little bit more grip to play with and so on and so forth.
There you can see the tarmac surface. Look there, just to the right of the curb, you can really clearly see what we mean about it being planed. It's like they've ground the top level off, and it's those ribs which take away some of the grip. So if you can imagine your tarmac tyre on a smooth piece of tarmac, it has a big contact patch. If you can imagine it on this ribbed piece of road, you can imagine it's kind of on tiptoes. It's only touching for maybe 50% of its contact patch. So that's why we actually call it officially, it's sealed and unsealed. So this is an unsealed surface. We all say gravel or loose. There you go, that's proper tarmac. And you can see the difference. It's a much smoother, less grainy surface. There's much more rubber down on it.
Yeah, much more grip on this section of track. Of course, the way the tyre works, you got the maximum part of the tyre touching that surface, whereas, like you said a minute ago, with the ribs, like you say, 50% of the tyre touching it, that's, you know, not all of your rubber being laid down on the circuit, so it makes it that tiny bit looser.
And some of the guys who say have gambled yesterday, they were like, do you know what, I think with the number of cars we got here, so think about the number of cars, the number of laps, they're like, I reckon it'd be clean. I don't care. I want pole in race through. I've gone for pole in this, pole in that. They've gone in earlier races to get an inside line for turn 1. Some of them were like, I think track development will play a part, and they've gone for a worse grid slot, but later in the running. So we're going to see whether or not there's any track development, because World RX is coming up next. Neil Cole is down the pre-grid with a man I know the crowd would love to see win, Cyril Raymond.
Yeah, and it's great to watch those pictures of how the track's developing. There's Timo Timozianov having a little chat. Around here we can see Topi Heikkinen, a wild card this weekend, and they don't get much wilder than him. But let's have a word with Cyril. En forme, tu vas bien?
Oui, je vais très bien, merci.
Now, talk us through how special it is to race here at Loiac.
Yeah, it's a really special event for me. At the moment, I'm a little bit anxious because I have the maximum stress now. But I think we can do something special this weekend. The Clio works really, really well on the track. We had some problem with the engine this morning, but everything is fixed now. So now, big push.
Yeah, and between you and your boss Gerlin, there must be a lot of focus with the French fans. But how do you calm yourself ready for the race?
It's really difficult to stay calm all on the weekend. But I like to share my experience and my weekend with everybody. So it's only one weekend. So I give my best all the time in the paddock to meet everybody and enjoy my weekend.
Now, we've just been looking at how the track has developed. We've had the qualifying for RX2 and for Euro Supercars. How does this track evolve? What's it like to get the apexes right every lap?
So every lap you have more grip in every corner, so you can brake later, take more speed in the corner, go back on the throttle very early. So you have to do a good adaptation with your driving style. It's really difficult for the drivers, but it's a job of the driver, one of the best job, a hard job. And but I like it. My job normally it's driver monitor in Circuit Paul Ricard, so in go-kart. So hopefully I will get a best result.
Okay, well, take a deep breath, send to yourself, and bon courage. Okay, let's have a little wander, see who else we can talk about. Oh, look, this is nice on the side of Christian Szabo's car. They did this last time in Canada. They've done it again. Obviously, it would be helpful if it was actually... There is one on the steering wheel as well, but that's just so that everyone can see the layout of the Loiac circuit, which is a nice touch. Let's see if we can have a word with someone around here. In fact, we might be able to jump in with team boss Gerlin. Hi, we're live. Just a quick word about how you can absorb all the pressure and the support from the French fans here at home in France.
Yeah, I'm okay actually. I feel quite good. I was just struggling with my engine since this morning. The car was not working properly, so I hope it's fixed because the last practice I could not even drive. So the pressure is fine, just my engine is at the moment is not. So let's see.
Apart from that, we know that your pace is getting quicker and quicker every round. What can you achieve here?
Yeah, I think we have the space here. The speed of the car is clearly there. It's just a question to make it work again, you know, and I feel okay.
Okay, bon courage. Okay, let's dive over here and actually see if we can get a word with Topi Heikkinen, who's talking to Kevin Hansen. Topi, it's great to see you back in the World Rallycross Championship, and we know that you're a talented Rallycross driver. What can you achieve here this weekend? Because you must like this circuit.
Yeah, this is not my favorite circuit for sure. I never have succeeded here before. But we try to do our best, and at the moment everything is under control. We have a pace, we have a great car, and really know the track right now. So let's try to do it step by step, and let's see what we can do. But it's a long weekend, and everything can happen. It's a new car, so I don't know all the tricks with these cars yet. So it's hopefully everything goes as smooth as in this point.
Now, if we back up a little bit, Bob. It's a nice livery on the car, but just talk us through this car because you've not had a lot of time in it, but we know that the car itself is quick. Talk us through what's special about this car.
First of all, I need to say about this wrap is the camo track design. So there is a different kind of tracks from the rallycross and from the other circuits. So that's the base, and then we had thanks to my sponsor also who let me drive this one, and they had give me the chance. And yeah, the car is like based on a Hyundai, like a rally car, so it's a bit different than Audi was back in the days, and somehow it's easier in some places, but somehow it's harder in some places. So it's a quite different car.
Okay, but you're getting to grips with it. Have a great race.
Thank you.
Good to see you back. So that's Topi Heikkinen, and somewhere around here should be Andrew Coley and Dan Rook.
Oh, exactly, bang on there, Neil, definitely. I'm really pleased to see Topi back. It's interesting is that he's like, oh yeah, back for a one-off event. No, I don't really like the track, to be honest, but I'm just really pleased to see him back.
Yeah, it is really good, and I mean, he has been competing this year. He's been doing the Titans RX series alongside the Hansen, so it's not like he's been out of a car. But it's not a supercar he's been driving, and he's got in this car today, and in practice he was right up in the times.
He was P4, I think, on his first run in the car, and he said to me he'd only done one lap with a little Facebook Live this morning, and he seems very comfortable. We know it's good. I mean, we've seen Weeman's been on the podium in it, Nittish has been on the podium after rolling it, which means it's a very good car, and obviously Gronholm and Timosyanov have both taken a win, so it's absolutely flying. I think he can get in the mix, and I do think the fact that he's been racing at least keeps him race sharp, but again, yeah, as you say, it's not a supercar, so it's kind of practicing a different car. He's still up against it, basically jumping into this car for a one-off, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%, and he seemed to have adapted to it very well. It's obviously a very good car to drive, given the results that the wildcard entries have had as well, given the limited seat time they've had. So, yeah, it definitely helps.
So we're good to have a guest driver with us, but of course what we're here for is round 8 of the World Rallycross Championship. We've got 3 rounds to go. We're here, Latvia in a fortnight's time, and then heading down to Cape Town in November. There's a strong chance, and I'm kind of hoping that we do take the Drivers' Championship all the way to that last round in South Africa. So let's take a look at the standings as we are coming into round 8. So Kevin Hansen at the top of the leaderboard, 143, 5 points clear of Bakkerud. Remember, Kevin was DQ'd from the final in Canada for contact with Anton Markland, so he lost probably 2 or 3 points there, and that helped Bakkerud, who had his win, of course, the first one in 981 days, we found out later on in the press conference in Canada. Bakkerud's got up to second, but of course Timmy Hansen is by no means out, but he fought back from a long way back when he had that shunt in Abu Dhabi. Then you got Gronholm and Baumanis, who are a very long shot, but could, you know, if everybody else had a shocker and they had an absolutely brilliant weekend, they could get themselves into the mix. Can't count out any probably of the top 10 or 12 drivers. We've had 6 different winners in 7 events. So fantastic. Who's going to win this time? basically pick a name out of a hat. It really has been a brilliant season. We hope you guys have been enjoying it at home. Tell you what, let us know, who do you think will win and why do you think they'll win? Not just because they're your favourite, you know, why? Is it a track you think someone's good at? Were you watching free practice this morning and you had a feeling about somebody's lap time? So you let us know, who do you think's going to win and who's your favourite for the World Rallycross Championship? Do you want it to go down to the last round? We do. Right, here we go then. Q1 World Rallycross, round 8 from Loillac in France. Race 1, Ollie Bennett, Gulan Chicherit and Fabien Paillet. Remember, these drivers chose their grid slots. Some of them would have been a bit later, and so would have ended up not having so much choice. Most of these guys were early, and most of them opted for these races on the basis that there were only 3 cars in it. Obviously, 3 cars into the first corner. The way the regulations work, we fill up as many races as we can with 5, but we never have less than 3. So that's why we don't do a 5 and a 1. We end up with 2 3s. So these guys have opted for these races because there are less cars in it and they feel that's going to give them a better opportunity to have a clean run. We're going to find out whether that was a good choice or not any second now. Bad start. Chicherit stalls on the line. Bennett's going to get high on the run to turn 1. So Bennett going to go tight high. Going to take the high line, low line. See if he can get through, but he can't. Bennett's many we know is super quick. I think it runs the latest Pipo engine. He's on the gas all the way down, braking down towards the hairpin. I wonder if Paillet might go jokerless. Chicherit so far out the back, he does. So Fabien Paillet goes straight to the joker. Disaster for Gulan Chicherit in his home event, and he's so hoping to do well here, and that is not what he needed.
No, not what he needed at all, but we've heard them saying how difficult the car is to get off the line. You know, with the design of the car, with the inboard brakes, they can't get that biting point of the clutch. They can't feel it squat down. All they can feel in the car is it starts to rock over and backwards. So he was maybe not able to quite get the biting point of the car, and then unfortunately stalling on the line there.
On board with Gulan Chicherit through turn 2. Gets a bit of understeer, has to wait on the throttle down.
Yeah, has to be really patient there. That's not what he wanted. I mean, maybe touching the curb on the inside there would have unweighted the front of the car and pushed it out wide on the exit, and he's gone into the joker lap now and hits both curbs nicely and sends it through.
So Chicherit will be hoping that other people have issues, stalls, or maybe some contact, and that he can get himself a bit further up the standing. We'll keep an eye on his lap times. So he was really, really good in Canada. He got 4th, and I have to say, Gulan's impressed me with his learning curve. He's got better and better. John Bennett's doing a decent job as well. Fabien Paillet, 1.5 off the bat. We're not quite sure what the joker deficit is here. We know it's tight. Bennett decides to stay out and the gaps come down to 1.2. So personally, I think that's not the right decision.
No, I think Bennett should have gone to the joker lap there. He is losing time to Paillet, which we can obviously see. So I think come now the lap that he goes in, which, well, next lap, last lap, is he's going to be swapping places with him.
I think Paillet's already taken another 3/10 off him. It was 1.2. It's now 1. Okay, only 2/10, but he's taking 2/10, 4/10 a lap at the moment. So Fabien Paillet, fastest lap of the day. Gulan Chicherit, we said we'd keep an eye. 36.299. What a shame about that start. Come on, Gulan. I want to see him in the semis at least here this weekend. Bennett goes joker over the jump in the mini. Left, right flick. Watch for Paillet around the outside. There he goes, he's gone already. So Bennett comes out just behind. Bit of applause from the French crowd. They do love a French flag taking the win here, and we don't blame them for that at all. Paillet's going to take it. Bennett gets P2, Chicherit 3rd. So Fabien Paillet with a 2:32.2. That would have been enough for 3rd in Euro. So it gives you an idea already. The pace is up there. 2:31.4 was Larsson's time. That kind of doesn't matter, but we're keeping an eye on this track development to see if it's getting any quicker. Air temperature at the minute is 21. Sun's just come back out. Not that critical, but just to give you an idea, it's also not that hot. Here's the home crowd, look. Very happy with that result. I saw somebody rocking a Rainis Knitters shirt down there in the crowd. Good on you. Not sure if Rainis is here this weekend or not. Obviously not competing, but he's often here with the team. Fabien Paillet taking it from Bennett and Chicherit. Look at Chicherit, was right back on them. And how much time did he lose on that first lap? Chicherit.
Can't see it on our time.
We see the lap time, but not what he lost at the line. So 36.2 and a 36.3 Chicherit did. So he did some really, in fact, he did two 36.3. So Chicherit was flying, but only after that disastrous start.
Yeah, that start is really putting him right back, hasn't he? Because Ollie Bennett's lap time was a 30. Oh, sorry. Paillet's lap time was a 36.5. So Gerland Chicherit was taking chunks of time out of them there. So he would have been way up there and probably had a very clear gap at this point.
So a little bit of a shame for the GCK team boss. They had 4 cars in the semis. Both of the McGanns of him and his teammate Mark have made it through to the final in Canada. He's got a little bit of work to do if he's going to make it here in France. Paillet, the winner of race 1.
Fabien, there were 2 Frenchmen in that race. You must feel good to be the one that won.
Yeah, for sure. That was the goal. It was a clean race. We had a good start. And then I think the Joker strategy was right. The goal was not to be held up by the car in front. So we had a clean run. So yeah, it was perfect. Yeah.
Well done, merci.
Thank you.
Next grid lineup is complete already. Only 3 cars in this one as well. As I say, we've got a 21 car entry here. Jonathan Paillet, Cyril Raymond and Timur Timosyanov. Cyril Raymond so keen to get a good result here. Timosyanov can never be counted out. Timosyanov yesterday was shouting at me from the crowd just before we went live to do the grid draw. He's going 500, 500, 5,000. He was saying, I want to be first in the draw. He's absolutely hilarious. Of course, sadly, if I could take a bribe, I have no idea how the code works, so I can't fix it for him. But he was an early draw, and he chose outside in this one, and he gets a great start. He's going to try and shut the door on Cyril Raymond. Cyril's not going to have that easily, though. Timur lights the gas up, sticks a wheel out in the dirt. He's inside for turn 2. Cyril tries to duck in underneath him. Timosyanov holds on. So Dan, good grid choice from Timur. I'll say he was within the top 5 or 6 drivers on the list yesterday, and interestingly went outside. Probably, I'm guessing, because Jonathan had already got the inside line in this one.
Yeah, so outside on the race with only 3 cars in, you can argue it's probably one of the best grid slots in the whole draw for Q1 there. But yeah, he had a bit of a fight there with Cyril though, didn't he? Bashing wheels a little bit. Maybe hopefully neither of them have picked up any damage that could affect steering alignment or anything like that.
You can have a look at Timur's steering alignment as he comes through turn 2 there on a full push of the Hyundai. We know how good this car is. Timur taking that win, of course, this year, and since then for me he's been on form. He's been really good. I might see another Timosyanov win. I'll be interested to see how he reacts. Of course, he had a podium last time out in Canada. Stayed up until quite late, I think it's fair to say. Very late.
Where did you hear that?
I was sat with him. So Timur in the lead from Paillet. Cyril Raymond joking early, looking has come out behind Jonathan Paillet, so that hasn't paid off. He would really like Jonathan to go now. Gonna come sliding round turn 2. If Jonathan doesn't go, Cyril will be really disappointed. Timur gonna hold on for the final lap. He is, and Jonathan does go. That releases Cyril Raymond. The gap is 2.005. I think that was Dave Mansfield, wasn't it, up in the spotters tower, so on duty sort of across the squad.
Nah, Mansfield doesn't do anything.
Yeah. He's very good at tennis, he does, isn't he, eh? But Mansfield's been all over the place, hasn't he, working in ARX as well, and he was at Nitro Games too, so Dave Mansfield, a very busy spotter, with a number of different team hats on. Fastest lap of the day, Timosyanov, 36.1 on board with him now. Look at this, down the gears, in towards the Joker, long rotation left, watching now, hooks the wheel up over. Gonna go up and over the jump. Look at that big deep breast from Timur. You can't beat a Timosyanov on board. Through the long right-hander. Aiming for that time of 2:32.2 of Fabien Paillet. Timosyanov should get that. Round the long right-hander. Little nip on the bar. On the gas now. Gonna be a 2:31.0, so 1.2 seconds faster. Timosyanov goes top. But it's whether or not that's going to be enough to hold on for the rest of the session, whether the track will get any cleaner. Timur grits his teeth. That's Dano, a bit of you know, body language reading doesn't look to me like Timmer thinks that's a perfect run.
No, so I mean, we didn't really see any mistakes from him there, did we? So,
well, Neil will ask him, I'm sure. He's just got that, you know, you can tell, can't you, when someone's like, yes, job done, or yeah, it's sort of great. I don't know, almost a little bit of frustration. Let's see, he might be really happy, but 2:31.0, his fastest so far. Only had 6 cars. Cyril Raymond, Jonathan Payet coming through. Cyril lost the start, and then it didn't work out after that. Timazziano rolls underneath the commentary position. The crowd are applauding more loudly now the world guys are in. On board with Timmer off the start. Here we go. This is where he has a bit of a wheel-to-wheel, well, a door-to-door with Cyril Raymond.
Yeah, so he was on the outside of, well, as far outside as he possibly can be. On the
outside, 6 inches off the apex.
Yeah. And contact with Cyril as he runs through, collects the gravel, collects Cyril once again. But then by turn 2, he's got himself clearing out front. And Cyril Raymond then went for the joke lap, dropped himself behind Payet, and for me, that that's ruined his race.
This was on board with Timmer. You can see the concentration through the Joker. Look, big deep breath, back on the gas again. He came out in front, he stopped the clocks in front. We weren't sure from the onboard reaction after the race whether or not he was super happy. Here it is, the Joker lap. Fantastic. Flinging the car around, but was he happy or not? Timazziano is top after 2 races in Q1.
Timmer, great to get a heat win, but you don't look very happy. What's up?
Yeah, I think we lose some time on the first lap. Overall, the track is really good condition now. Doing some mistakes, not the mistakes, but I think not on the top of the speed. I was like more security. Also, the Joker lap was a mistake on the last lap. I think 3/10 or 4/10 of the seconds. Yeah, that is like just like trying to over push on the entry. Yeah, it's we done a good we done a good draw with 3 cars. The first corner was tough. The guys inside is pushing me a little bit. I was scared to be out like in the gravel section outside on the bank, but yeah, I still figure out somehow this to be first, and let's have some good times, but we'll see now.
Thank you, well done.
So Timmer was happy with his draw, said it was good to go with the third one. Interesting, when he says security, what he means there is safety. You know, so basically he wasn't as quick as he thinks he could be, but there you go. Q1 race 3. Herve Napik on the inside, local legend. Tell you about him at the press conference yesterday in just a moment. Tuomas Heikkinen, Toppy, back. Rokas Baciuska in the middle of the grid. Christian Szabo and Kevin Hansen, the World Championship leader on the outside. Kevin yesterday was last to draw his slot, so he had no choice. That's where he ended up. Here he is. Look at Kevin, you can see already, there go the eyebrows. He's in full focus mode. Already look straight at them and literally hasn't blinked. Takes a look at the dash, going through his procedures, making sure everything is how he wants it. Kevin has to get a good start here. He needs a clean weekend and a fast one, but he's got quick guys inside him. Oh, great start on the inside from Heikkinen. Heikkinen going to shut the door. Kevin's going to have to drop into 5th, maybe try and get past a couple of cars in the next 2 corners, but he's not going to. Kevin Hansen on board is in 5th place with Baciuska in front of him. Will he have a look up the inside on the dirt? It's a train of cars. They've all gone defensive. Tuomas Heikkinen and Toppy is out front. Baciuska goes Joker and Kevin changes his mind. He was going to go there, Dan, I think.
Yeah, it would have made sense for him to go if nobody in front of him did, but having to change his mind because Baciuska went in, and that was what he had to do to try and get up and past him. But now he's up behind Napik, and I think it's very fair to say that Kevin Hansen is faster than Napik here, so he's going to have to try and get past him.
He's trying to get him here into turn 2. Oh, contact with Napik, and Napik's off into the barrier. That's a shame. Napik, yes, they read a statement. He doesn't speak English, and someone had written him a statement. He goes, "Be careful, I am old, but I can be fast," was what he said in the draw, and it got a massive cheer and a round of applause for all the drivers. It's a real shame to see Herve Napik, who, might I add, is over 70 years old and still launching a supercar. What a legend. So Kevin Hansen, though, gets the break he needed there. Napik, I don't think knew Kevin was up his inside. Kevin had got him on traction on the exit of the last corner, but Toppy Heikkinen leads. How long is it we've said since Toppy Heikkinen leads? Fantastic to have him back.
Yeah, it really is great as we ride on board with Kevin Hansen here. Really tidy through the first corner there, and he set the Edox fast lap of the day so far, 35.9. That's the first lap we've seen in the 35. So he's on a mission, but now he's up behind Szabo, and he's not gone to the Joker lap yet, so they're all going to go to the Joker lap together. But for me, Bachuska's got him now already. Yeah, I think I might have gone Joker there, to be fair, but there you go. Napick is down as a DNF, so he's stuck in that gravel trap up at turn 2. Toppy out front, what are his lap times like compared to Timmer? Timmer did a 36.1, so was Toppy. He's done a 36.2 and a 36.1, now a 36.3. Kevin Hansen, I say, the only person to dip into the 35s, can't find his way past Szabo. Look at the entry speed he got. Szabo there was a little bit wide and a bit sideways. Kevin Hansen is pushing so hard, so Szabo, they're going to go Joker together. Kevin can't find a way through, and he's losing just a tenth here and a tenth there. He's got to keep it tidy and just keep it sensible. Bachuska going around the outside is not going to get Heikkinen. Heikkinen comes out first. Bachuska gets the cars behind him. Nicely done. Rokas Bachuska's going to go P2. Toppy Heikkinen chasing that time of Timoziano, which is 2:31.0. He's done it. 2:29.9. So 1.2 seconds faster for Toppy. And Napick does make it round. Yes! Go on, Herv. Oh, apparently he's a lap behind, so he's still going to be a DNF. Go on, do the lap anyway, Herv. Go on. He's going to pull it round. At least it saves us dragging him out with the truck. Well, what a legend. I say, all smiles yesterday. And for me, he got one of the biggest cheers of the day with his little comment in the press conference, which was great. So Toppy straight back on it with a 2:29.9. He's the first man to go under 2 minutes 30 for a race time this weekend. Bachuska is second. Szabo, Kevin Hansen, Herv Napick, where are they going to go? So Kevin Hansen, the World Championship leader, is 5th. Toppy Heikkinen goes top of the tables. Not a disaster for Kevin at all. A couple of races still to come. Got to be in the mix. They don't want to leave themselves with work to do tomorrow. If they can help it, they want a semi-final slot as booked as you can ever get it. Here it is, Kevin. So this is what I mean. He had no choice over his grid slot, remember. He was the last person on the list. And he did the right thing there, Dan, because he didn't win the start, so he couldn't just chop in. No, so backing out and deciding to cut in, but actually running right over the curb in the first corner. You see the car really bouncing there, so that wouldn't have been pleasant for him in the car, but you can see he's trying to use all the track to his advantage, but it still didn't quite work out. If he got Bachuska in turn 1, I wonder, it was where he got Napick. Look, I don't think Napick knows as the car transitions back from that sideways, just a little tap, and he did get it out of the gravel, but not in time to register a finish. I wonder if Kevin had got Bachuska, maybe he would have got Napick then on the brakes down at turn 3. Hard to know, but on this occasion, not ideal. That's the first one done. You know, in the next one he should be in with some slightly quicker guys. In theory, the next one again, so he'll battle his way through. But Toppy Heikkinen has gone fastest so far, 2:29.991 on his return to the World Rallycross Championship.
Well, that was a great start to your World Rallycross comeback. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was a really good one. It's always a pleasure to win the qualifying where it's the one driver in the same grid. But yeah, it was the first one. Hopefully the time is good enough. And yeah, let's go forward. The car feels great at the moment, and I think we still can improve in some places. But let's see. It's at least it's good fun, and I enjoy every moment.
Well done. Thank you, Kiitos.
So he's enjoying himself, he's doing a great job. Kevin Hansen just popped up on the timing screen as a track limits warning. So I think the next one's a 5-second penalty, Dan, and he won't have wanted to pick that up so early in the weekend. No, not at all. So he's already on the back foot at the moment, and to not be able to touch anything now, he's in trouble. Race 4, Q1, Yannis Baumanis on the inside, Timo Scheider next to him, then it's Markland in the middle, Andreas Bakkerud goes slot 4, and Jani Parssinen is in slot 5. So Parssinen was about 3rd or 4th to last, came up to the front yesterday, and I asked him, what grid slot do you want? He said, which one would you go for? I told him to take this one because all the quick drivers, these guys are all known quantities. He goes, okay, fine. Oh, good start. Bakkerud just out of Markland. Scheider's quick on the inside. So is Baumanis. Parssinen into the side of Bakkerud. Bakkerud runs a little bit wide. Parssinen out in the gravel trap. Bakkerud's inside. Markland now contact again. He's been hit from both sides. Misses the tyres just on the inside. Andreas Bakkerud is down in 4th place. Are we going to see him go Joker straight away? He does. So Bakkerud goes Joker and Parsons goes with him. So that's a result for him, because if Parsons stayed out, he'd have had to got past him.
Yeah, so ideal for Bakkerud, like you say, as Parsons runs, so nearly hit the wall there in the Joker lap. He was lucky to get away with that one. And yeah, Andreas now is going to have to try and pump the laps in. He got battered around a little bit in that first couple of corners, but now he's on his own. He can see what he can do.
Balmanis, of course, got P2 in Canada, his best ever result in the World Rallycross Championship. He got a third in Norway, but didn't get to stand on the podium. That was after Markland's DQ. Markland behind him. Markland said to me yesterday, I want to get my second win. He goes, well, or is it my first? He said, I'm not sure how I feel about it. So Markland still wants to win. Nicholas Gronholm said to me, I still want a real win. He doesn't want a steward's one either. So Balmanis through the right-hander. Is this to defend his position from Bakkerud? It is, and he does. Balmanis looks really comfortable in that car. And again, in free practice this morning, we spoke to him live, and he said, I know what the car will do. I'm really happy. First run out on a damp track, he was nailing it.
Yeah, so it makes all the difference being comfortable in the car. If you're in a car you're not comfortable with, it could be the best in the world, but if you're not used to it, then you're not going to be able to drive it at its limit. So for him to be comfortable in the car, that is the first thing you've got to look for as a driver.
So I don't really feel Bakkerud could maybe, well, we don't know. Bakkerud and Balmanis, I think, are a good pacey pairing here. So Scheider and Markland in front. They're only 0.9 off the back of Markland. Look, Markland hasn't jokered, so I think Markland's a goner here for both these guys. Scheider, meanwhile, 1.9 of Balmanis. What's the gap now as they come over the start-finish line? Still 1.9. So Balmanis and Bakkerud chasing down Scheider. Scheider will have to joker this last lap, and so will Markland. So Timo Scheider's going to go in now in the all-in club. We saw Rennie Munich was fast earlier on. Markland's gone with him. Down the back straight for Balmanis. Bakkerud right behind him. Scheider's quick though. Scheider's going to slide the car wide. Block pass. Here comes Markland. Is he going to hold on? Can Bakkerud get through as well? Markland inside of the last corner. Bakkerud hits Balmanis, but takes the position. Scheider's going to take the win. Doesn't quite go fastest, but Scheider from Balmanis and Bakkerud and Markland. Scheider half a second off. Timo Scheider looking quick here. Toppy Hakkinen from Timo Scheider at the top of the table with just one race to go in Q1. Interesting. Bakkerud and Markland.
There, isn't there?
They're not happy, are they?
No, we saw Erbo's out with them in turn 1 and 2, and then now the last lap. He's looking in the mirror,
He's properly eyeballing him in the mirror. Oh, he's backed him up. So Bakkerud's backed him up there, hasn't he? And that's the... Yeah, thank you, little nod. So Andreas isn't happy. We need to look at the replays. Not at all happy. He's on the radio. You can see he's got a thumb on the steering wheel, talking on the radio, looking at his mirrors still.
He's backed him up again. Just see him out of our commentary position. The two cars in front of them have already gone underneath us to return to the paddock, and they're only just leaving the track.
So Bakkerud making his feelings known. Thumbs up to the crowd. I wonder if him and Mark are going to be having a word in the paddock. Here's the result. Timo Scheider takes it to 30.5. Balmanis in second place. Him and Bakkerud in a bit of a train. Markland in fourth, Parsons in fifth. We know Parsons and Bakkerud got together in turn 1. Then Bakkerud and Markland, I think, got together in turn 2, didn't they? Nearly put Bakkerud into the tyres, but we need to have a look at that to see if there's any blame to be apportioned. And we'll see if anything comes up on the screen. I personally don't think there's anything untoward in there, but there you go. Timo Scheider is with Neil Cole.
Well, Timo, there were certainly a lot of elbows out in that race, and it looks like there's a little bit of beef between Anton and Andreas, but you were unbothered by that. A great race.
Yeah, it was the target to have a good getaway and to go a bit wider into turn 1 just to get a bit of space, and that worked out. I had the undercut to Janis right there, which was the key for the race. So I'm quite happy. I guess that's a good start into the weekend.
Yeah, good pace in the car as well. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, great pace in the Seat Ibiza this weekend in both Euro and World. Right, on board with Bakkerud, into turn 1. Here we go. Pulls a couple of gears, moves across. Boom, gets a nudge now from Parsons, does he? We don't see that very much. That looked much worse outside than it did inside. But for me, there's nothing really there. See that Parsons hits Bakkerud. What do you think, Dan? This next bit here?
Yeah, it's this next bit. So you can see Markland coming across. Of course, Markland's not really going to know he's there.
I don't think Anton knows that Andreas is there. But then is Andreas annoyed about this? Because this was their joker. It'll be the So if it isn't turn 2, then it's the merge at the end of the race. So watch for the merge at the end of the race, because Andreas Bakkerud not happy with Anton Markland. Markland's going to go joker now with Scheider, and watch for the merge. This is key.
Yeah, so Markland now coming around on the exit. Baumanis has already got him, and Bakkerud is trying to hook onto the back of Baumanis to force Markland in. We watch onboard now, so you can see there's no gap between them. Markland's trying to find his way through. It's really tight there, and Andreas having to be a bit forceful, but I mean, it's nothing too bad. I think maybe Andreas was a bit aggressive there, following on from what
this is Andreas at the end of the race. So Andreas is going to go and try to have a word, I think. Well, no, you're not. So that's interesting. So they're holding it back. You know, the last thing you want when you're in a World Championship fight, Dan, is to go and get all livid with another driver. You know, that's great. That is fantastic for us to see that. Mechanic jumps in, having gone, no, Andreas, no, no.
Bad boy,
yes,
down.
Exactly. So, okay, so Andreas is flustered there, definitely. For me, him and the Markland thing, I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think he's making a big deal out of something that is maybe a bit small, but with the amount of pressure now riding on his shoulders following on from the Canada win, every tiny little bit is going to get to him.
One race left to go in Q1, race 5. Here we go. On the inside, Niklas Gronholm. Next to him, World Rallycross debutant Matvej Ferrazkin. So Matvej Ferrazkin is from an autocross background, 4-wheel drive Skoda Fabia, similar horsepower. Guillaume de Ridder in the middle of the grid. Timmy Hansen, P3 in the standings, and Liam Doran on the outside. Liam's told us what he's going to do in turn 1. I'll tell you in a second. So yesterday on the truck into town, waving at all the fans, I said to Liam, you're looking forward to the race with Timmy. Him and Timmy are both up for this. Liam said, I'm going to throw gears at it and then I'm going to turn into turn 1 and pull the handbrake. I saw him do it in practice. Let's see if he does it again now. Great start by everyone except for Ferrazkin. Liam Doran on the outside. Don't think he's going to have the chance to make his little plan work. He doesn't. Oh, he ends up in contact with Timmy Hansen. Runs himself into the gravel. Hansen's up the inside of de Ridder. Gets past Ferrazkin. Has to back out of it. Did he hit the tyres? He did, so Ferrazkin's taken his front wing off. Timmy Hansen, lucky there not to get collected by de Ridder. Ferrazkin's a bit wild on the brakes. Liam Doran goes into the joker. So Dan, I saw him this morning in practice do exactly what he said he was going to do, Liam. He threw 4 gears, it pulled the bar and sent it in, but Timmy was inside him and he couldn't make use of that number 5 grid slot.
Yeah, so not able to work out for him. I think for me, he should have backed out.
Hansen up the inside of Gronholm at the last corner. Hansen's going to get him on the run into turn 1. Brilliant move.
Yeah, fantastic move from Hansen. Of course, being in the title fight with everybody else, he needs to get the perfect Q1. And I can see from I can just see from our commentary position, Liam Doran's now passing Ferrazkin as he's done the joker lap, but there seems to be a bit of debris in turn 2.
Yeah, I think that's Ferrazkin. That's parts of Ferrazkin's car. I think Ferrazkin backed it into those tyres on the inside of turn 2. Timmy Hansen leading this. Was Hansen fastest in practice by the end? I saw it after 2 runs.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't quite check it, unfortunately, this time out, but yeah, we know him and the Peugeot. Yeah, we know him and the Peugeot work really well at this track, so it would not surprise me as we're looking at the debris there. You can see the green of ES Motorsport cars is hanging around all over the track.
Ferrazkin going to be getting a bill for that. Timmy Hansen getting an Enox fastest lap of the day with a 35.8. De Ridder goes into the joke lap, so this is a great run from Timmy Hansen. Took the lead on track. There's his mum, Susan Kenneth. Graham Rodemark on the outside there. Graham is Kevin Spottable. All 3 of them up there. It's a big team effort for them. They want to get P1 and 2 in the driver's standings, try and control things. And a great way to do that would be by winning Q1 here in France.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do, and we've seen him do the fastest lap of the day, but on that last lap he actually dropped 3 tenths to the lap previous, so maybe he's made a small mistake somewhere or feels comfortable in the pace and just trying to back it off a little bit, but he goes into the joke lap now on the last lap.
2:29.991 is the target time of Toppy Haken, and Toppy, can he go top of the standings at the end of Q1? Is Timmy Hansen going to do it in his attempts to chase down the World Championship lead? It's been a circuit that's been good to him before. Hansen's coming round the last corner. He's going to take this race. Is he going to take the fastest time of the session? Hansen doesn't. 2:30.2. Toppy Hakkinen wins his first session back in the FIA World Rallycross Championship for GRX. What a drive by Toppy. Toppy. Hansen goes P2. So Timmy Hansen has taken control of the World Championship fight because Bakkerud and his brother Kevin haven't had such a good run in Q1. There is a long way to go, but that is a big confidence boost for Timmy Hansen. Good drive, got the job done on Gronholm when he needed to. I don't know, would that have cost him that much time? I don't think it would. I don't think it would. Well, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, any sort of fight on track is going to cost time, but it's not like he was following somebody who's slow, you know. He's following Niklas Gronholm, so he wouldn't have lost too much time in the first lap, but yeah, the overtake would have cost him.
Big applause. They've enjoyed that section. We have too. Hope you guys have at home. Timmy Hansen takes with a 2:30.2. Niklas Gronholm 2:31.3. De Ridder, Doran and Farazkin. Where do they go? Well, only Niklas and Timmy on the first page, but Topi Heikkinen takes Q1 here in France. That is some way to return to this championship. Here we go, this was the start. So Liam, I say, was going to send it, but he'll have looked to his right and he'll know that Timmy was there. Not a lot he can do. Tries to go around, there's a little nudge there, and that actually runs him wide. Watch for Farazkin in the Skoda. So Farazkin cuts in too much, and boom, I think he hits the tyres. That really sucks him backwards. Doran gets up his inside. Gronholm was a bit sideways through here, and that doesn't necessarily work here, does it, Dan?
No, you've got to be super smooth, and there you can see traction on Timmy's car just pulled himself through the inside there of Niklas Gronholm, and from there Gronholm wasn't able to do anything about it.
Farazkin doing a good job of handling the Skoda. It's obviously not something that's out of his reach in terms of car control. Look how close Liam was to the wall.
Yeah, Liam is, we know he pushes the limits, and that was a good example of it.
He's a brilliant driver, Liam. Timmy Hansen said yesterday that Liam is someone who has incredible car control, and I would absolutely second that. Having seen his outlap here a few years ago in the wet, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but brilliant stuff by Timmy Hansen. Comes P2 in the session. That's the best of the World Championship fighters.
Timmy, the crowd really enjoyed that, especially your overtake. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was a great run. Seeing Kevin being fifth the other run, I started to hesitate a bit, like, how's it gonna go? But I had a great launch. That's what it comes down to in the end. Coming out behind Niklas, I was actually happy in that position because I started fourth. So, okay, this will be a good run. And to be honest, I didn't expect to overtake, but I just came in well to the corner and he was hanging a bit, and it was almost like there was no choice. So the door was open and I went in. So yeah, then I pushed through the next laps. The tires have a hard time around here. They're overheating a lot. So I think today and tomorrow will be a lot about tire strategy as well. But I'm very happy with this result to win the race, and in front of these fans, they give me so much love. So I'm happy to do that for them.
Well, we'll see you later in Q2. Well done.
Thank you.
Good drive by Timmy Hansen, sees him go P2, but it's Topi Heikkinen who wins Q1 here in France. A fantastic return to the World Rallycross Championship, running the third car for GRX. Timo Scheider right up there in the Seat Ibiza. Timothy Mazyanov in another of the GRX cars is fourth. Look, Niklas Gronholm is sixth, so 3 of the top 6 of those GRX Hyundais. Rokas Bachuska, the highest of the GCK machines. Baumanis goes 7th, Sabo is 8th. On to page 2, Bakkerud is 9th, Kevin Hansen 10th. Those two are P1 and P2 in the World Championship. I say there's a long way to go, but they want to get forward from there. Payet and Cyril Raymond are in 11th and 12th at the minute. Mark and De Ridder, Bennett, Payet, everybody else has got some work to do. Liam Doran's out, Shishrip, Parston, Farazkin and Napik. So a fair bit of work for some of those guys to do if they're going to make it. Great session. I think we saw the end of track development, personally. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the times are all really level now. We're seeing on the timing screen how close the laps are between, you know, all of the races in this session. So I think now we're going to see it at its peak, and then I know previously there have been some holes and ruts develop here before, so we might start to see it drop off coming into tomorrow.
Okay, that's tomorrow. What's coming up, of course, later today is Q2. Now, Q2, you know, in the World Championship, we sometimes flip the grid. So if the track is done with developing, this maybe won't make as much of a difference. It will make a massive difference potentially tomorrow morning, because I think this track will still be developing by the time the World guys get out for Q3. It certainly was last year, though the weather conditions were a little bit different. So let's see. Either way, we're going to find out if the grid is going to be standard or reversed for Q2 with the spinner. Here we go. Right, come on then. Fastest first or slowest first? I know the drivers would like it to be slowest first, but it's not going to be. It's going to be fastest first. So we're going to see the fastest drivers out first. And but I think track development. Personally, I think track development is done. So I think you're going to see a couple of the quick guys set times. But I think track development's done. You know better than me.
Well, yeah, I'm going to say I agree with you there. You know, we've got, obviously, even now we've got RX2 and Euro RX before the World RX goes out, and I think there's like a Legends race as well, isn't there? The Group B guys. So all of that is going to be sweeping the track, but it is there or thereabouts done, so it's not really going to make that much odds.
So pretty clean, might make a bigger difference. Tomorrow. So we saw Andreas Bakkerud jumping out the car early on. He wasn't very happy. Neil Cole's managed to track him down. Let's see what he's got to say about that.
Yeah, so this guy's quick, and we're not as quick as him because we just ran down the paddock to grab you. Andreas, first of all, it's an impressive race out there, some good action. You did not look happy with Anton. What happened? Because we've watched the replays, there was contact, but what's your perspective?
I don't know, I just feel like sometimes, I know rallycross is rallycross and it's supposed to be tough, but when you look at the car, you see marks everywhere. You can see it on the left side, you can see it on the right side. Some of us, they don't know what the price costs on bumpers and fenders and doors and rear bumpers. We try to make it look good for everyone to watch, but yeah, we are in the war. Loyac is a great track, lots of action, but the FIA unfortunately destroyed the track with putting tire barriers in turn 2. So when Anton, he tried to keep his race line, I tried to keep mine, we hit together, and then me putting my front in the tire barriers just stopped the push from Anton. So yeah, unfortunately that's racing, and also me overreacting a little bit after the finish line. Even like I've never seen blood coming from a hand after incident, but it was a big incident, and that tire stock is so stupid. I don't know what the FIA is thinking about putting the tire stock there. Maybe they want us to crash and roll and die. I don't know, but it feels like it.
Wow, okay, strong words there, Andreas. I don't know if you were watching the live stream. We've just had the spinner. Q2 is fastest first. It's reverse grid. What does that mean for you in this situation?
For me, it doesn't really mean much. I'm back where I started. P9 I was overall, so I start again on the outside. Hopefully we can have a bit better start. Maybe go around the outside or go behind and in. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, I think Q2 is in about 45 minutes for us, but you've got a little bit more time to maybe calm down, zen out a little bit.
And grab a monster.
There's plenty of them here. Okay, right, Andreas, thank you. And nice new... Thanks. See, he's calm now. A Zen master. Okay. And look, Liam Doran's car has just come in as well. So everything's being re-prepped, ready for Q2, which will come up later. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks to Andrew Coley and Dan Rook and the whole TV team, and some great racing. We'll do it all again with RX2 and URX and these supercars in action in approximately 40 minutes' time. Go and have a cup of tea or a baguette. We'll see you soon.